Yeah, everyone do that. Don't do that. Abosu. Eh? Lórí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá kí ló ṣe é?
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir, Mr. Taiwo.
Yes, good evening, sir. So, hope
Good
I'm
evening,
very
sir.
audible.
Thank you,
Can
sir.
we all hear me?
Yes, I from my hand, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
All right. So, today we want to talk about research objectives. Our last class, Mr. Faith talked about statement of the problem. That was what we did in our last class. And I believe we've submitted our assignments to Mr. Faith. Mr. Faith, have they all submitted their assignment? Is he with us? Mr. Faith?
Hello.
Hello, I'm with you, sir. I'm asking if you
Yes,
have all
sir.
submitted the assignment.
I don't think assignment was given apart from the class work we were given that day.
Oh, okay, no problem then. So today we want to look at research objectives. And just like we know, the last class and today's class is just like we are recapping what we have taught before so that people will get it better. So in every research, either you are writing it for publication or for your master's, PhD, or even undergraduate level. After your statement of the, after you have written your background of the study, you have written your statement of the problem, then the next thing to work on is your research objectives. And when we are talking about research objectives, in today's class, we are going to learn what research objectives is. Then we are going to know how to the importance or why we need research objectives in every research. Then what are the forms of research objectives that we have? Then we will explain why variables should be broken down before setting objectives. From there, we are going to move to distinguishing between general and specific objectives. And also, if time permits us, we will look at characteristics of good research objectives. Then we learn how to write objectives practically for correlational studies. So what is research objectives? You know, every research study that is being conducted are targeting one or two goals, one or more goals, let me say it like that. Because without any goal, then there is no research. So that means before you even start any research, before you even embark on the research journey, you have specific overall aim that you want your study to meet, what you want to accomplish upon completion of your study. That is what research objective is. So if you don't have anything in mind that you want to achieve, then there is no study for you at all. Then you are not conducting any research. There has to be something that you want to see, if it is like that, or a new knowledge that you want to gain, or anything at all. In as much you have something you want to accomplish at the end of your research journey, then that is called research objectives. So that being said, you will know that there is no any research without research objectives. Now, research objective is just like a statement that describes what you, as a researcher, what you intend to achieve in a study. So if we are to put it simple, research objectives are your targets or your goal, what you want to achieve or accomplish at the end of your study. Now, what is now the importance of research objectives? Why do we need to set objectives for our study? Number one is that research objectives give direction to the study, meaning that if you want to conduct any research, you are working in an open field. You are working in an open field. So that means if you should just start working without having in mind where exactly to touch on that field, you might find yourself at the end of it that you are just touching each part of the farm bit by bit without having to do any significant work on it. So as a result of that, research objectives gives or serve as a roadmap for your research. Secondly is that it gives scope to your study. That is, it helps you to limit yourself, because you cannot, even though you have a problem that your study is facing or your study want to solve, even though you have a problem that your study want to solve at the end of the day, you cannot solve all that problem using just one study that you want to conduct. So you have to pick some specific areas of that problem, or even one of the areas of that problem, and focus on it on a particular study. So that means research objectives serve as a limitation. It gives limitation to what your research study can actually do. So that means if you have research objective, it will deter you from being jack of all trades. You will not be jumping from this to this, from this to this, because you already know the limits of what you should operate within. So you cannot solve every problem, all the problem in that in one if you identify one problem, for instance, now there are so many factors that can lead to that problem. So in just one research, you cannot examine all those factors. You have to pick some of them. And that is why we said research objectives give scope to a study. Another one is that research objectives help us to save time and resources. So instead, please, if you don't mute your mic, please kindly mute. I think, who is that again? I think Dr. Christiana, please mute your mic, ma. So the next one is that research objective saves time and resources. If you already know what you want to achieve, then you will not be working on what is not useful for you. You will not be working on what your study is not all about. You focus all your resources, all your time and attention on those areas that you have limited your research to. So that is another importance of research objectives. And because of all that, research objectives help us to guide us when it comes to data collection and data analysis. Because it is the type of objective, it is the limit that you set for your research that will tell you what to include in your questionnaire at the end of the day, so that you will not have irrelevant information, and as a result of that, you will not collect irrelevant data. So your data collection and your analysis will be centered on the specific issues or factors that you have selected to focus on in your study. So this help researchers to know what data they should collect Okay, sorry. Please, can you hear me now? I don't know. I've muted. Please, can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes, yes, we can hear
Oh,
now.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
we can hear
So,
now.
all right. Thank you, sir. I said
Welcome back.
generally there are two forms of research objectives. The first one is called the general objectives or the general objective, while the second one is specific objectives. So when you are talking about general objectives, it is the same thing as your research aim. You want to achieve it. That is your overall aim. That is your general objectives. But when you talk of specific objectives, remember when I was introducing uh, the meaning of research objectives. I said it that if you look at your statement of the problem, you have identified what the problem is. So the essence of conducting that study now is that you want to know either you want to know factors that led to the problem or you want to profile solutions to the problem. So in that case, either you are looking at the factor or you are bringing a solution to test if it will solve it. You are still looking for a way to solve it. However, if you look at it critically, you cannot focus on all the possible solutions. Likewise, you cannot explore all the possible factors that can lead to that problem. So you have to pick some of them or even one of them that you think you have the resources such as time, money, and even knowledge to handle. So in that case, specific objectives are now those areas, those factors that you want to consider before you can say you have achieved your overall aim. Let me give us an example. It's just like you said there is uh there is a mass failure in JAM, for instance. I'm just using it as an example. If your statement of the problem says that there is a uh mass failure in JAM because students are used to uh their smartphone. Now, you already know that, okay, this your study, you want to look at how students are using smartphone and relate it or correlate it to their academic performance or achievement in JAM score. So in that case, you can look at it from several angles. You can examine maybe how many hours they spend on uh, ICT. You can examine what type of ICT do they use. You can even examine what period of the day, how many hours they spend on. So if you look at it at the end of the day, so many areas that you can look at the possible problem for is they are too much. So in that case, you need. Sorry, I'm back. I don't know why this network is just pulling me out. All right. So when leaving your house, you know where you are going already, which is the University of Lagos. But that is your general objectives, getting to University of Lagos. That's your general objective. But before you can get to University of Lagos, you know that you will first leave your house to a particular location, maybe a particular bus stop, where from that location, from that bus stop, you'll be able to board another bus going to a closer location to or bus stop to the University of Lagos. For instance, if I should leave my house to University of Lagos now, from my house, I know University of Lagos is my target. That's my general objective. So from my house, I will enter a NAPEP going to garage. So that is my first specific objectives. Because without going there, without going to garage, I cannot get to Unilag. So that is my first objective. Then my second objective is that from garage, I will enter another bus that will take me to Yaba. That is the second specific objective. Then from Yaba, I will now enter Unilag. You can see each of them are your specific objectives, but the overall goal is towards getting to Unilag. So that is how general objective and specific objectives operate in every research. That takes us to the types of research. The types of research objectives. We have several types of research objectives, such as we have the explorative objective, descriptive objective, correlational objective, comparative, explorative, predictive, diagnostic. There are so many, but for today's class, we will focus on correlational objectives, which examine the relationship or association between two or more variables. So when do we use this type of research objective? We use correlational objectives when in our study we are trying to know whether two or more variables are related. Maybe there is any association or relationship between two or more variables. That is when we use correlational objectives. So all other objectives, all other types of research objectives, we are going to look at them maybe class by class. But for today's class, we will look at correlational objectives alone. So now, that being said, if you want to set objectives for under correlational objectives, that is your study is correlational study, you must break down your variables. Number one, you must be able to identify the variable that you have in your study. Then you must break it down. Then the question now is, why do we need to break our variable down before setting objectives? One, if you want to set objectives, you must break down your variable. You must identify and break down your variable, because without breaking down your variable you might not be able to measure your variables directly. Just like if I'm conducting a study on influence of family background on students' academic achievement or academic performance, or I'm looking at relationship between, let me put it that way, relationship between family background and student academic performance in maybe computer science, for instance. No, in that case, we have two variables there. We have family background, we have student academic performance. So, but family background is too broad for us to handle. So we need to limit it down, just like my example of leaving my house to the University of Lagos. So you have to break this down to what can you actually measure. Are you with me? So that is why we need to break our variables down when you are setting your research objectives. Then how do we go about it? Number one is, from your topic, you must identify those variables there. You must identify what variable do you have there and what types of variable are they. So in correlational study, mainly we have the dependent variable and we have the independent variable. So the first thing that we need to do is to identify the two in our study. So when you are talking about the independent variable and the dependent variable, I know we have done this several times. So just go back to one of our videos and refresh your brain on it. Then after identifying the variables, what are you to do with it? You will pick each of the overall variables that you have identified. you will pick one of them and you will split it down. For instance, if you look at family background and academic performance, which one can be broken down out of the two? That's my question now. I'm asking all of us now. If you are working on family background and academic performance, and you want to see relationship or association between the two of them, that's a correlational study. So out of the two of them, which one can you break? And what will be their, if you break them, what are we going to have? What will be their subvariables? Anybody that want to try? Oh, okay, I think someone is typing. Okay. Dr. Nonuga, you said academic performance can be breaking down. Please, I would like if you can unmute yourself and talk to the class. How can we break down academic performance, ma?
Good evening, class.
Good evening, ma.
Yes, sir. I want to try based on
Okay,
your
go ahead.
explanations.
Go ahead, ma.
Academic performance, I'm open to correction, please. Can be broken
Okay.
down
Okay.
into different aspects. Maybe one, the level of the students at entry points. What is the academic performance of that new student when entering JS1, based on where it's
Okay.
coming from. So academic
Okay.
performance can also be checked after exposing them to a specific training. What is the
Okay.
performance? That is when you introduce intervention. You
Okay.
understand?
Thank
You can
you.
also get another ranking of performance. So like that.
Okay.
So it can have some variables under it. Before intervention, after intervention, without intervention, or based on the class setting, or is it mixed school or single sex schools or co-educationals. So you can break down academic performance more easier than family background. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, but I have one more question. If you said we can break down academic
See, I
performance,
said I mentioned family for breaking down family background. I mentioned that can family income suffice?
okay. Yeah, thank you. So, who is talking? Is it Mrs. Ojerinde, right?
It's Fumi.
Okay, Mrs. Ojerinde. I think if let's undo that of Mrs. Dr. Nonuga first, then I will come back to you. So, okay, let's do it like this. Mrs. Ojerinde, please explain your point very well. Explain your point very well first before I talk.
Yes, sir. What I'm trying to say is that I'm asking that can family income pass as a subvariable for family background?
Yes, it can. So, but before we do that, before we pick which of these two variables we want to break down, we need to first identify which one is the outcome variable, which one is the dependent variable, which one is the independent variable. Then again, we need to look at the two variables, which one is more easier to break down. Which one is, if we want to break it, we will not be forcing it. It will come naturally. You know, if you want to break a variable and you are forcing it, at the end of the day, it might be very difficult for you to measure. So it has to be something that without any extra effort, you will be able to break it down. And you will see so many people that will agree with your breakdown. So if we want to look at these two factors that we have, class, which one is dependent variable, which one is independent variable, and which one is more easier to break down without forcing it. I'm asking now. Anybody?
Well, I would say that I want to try, sir.
Okay, go ahead,
So
man.
I would say that family background in my opinion, is an independent variable.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
student performance or outcome
No,
is
don't let's go to outcome. Let's focus on students' academic performance only. Yes.
performance. Student
Yes.
academic performance is now a dependent variable.
It's not thank you so much. So if we are now looking at the two, performance, let's say I mentioned computer science, so is it, did they call it computer science or just computer? So that means
Computer studies.
if we are talking about student performance in computer studies, that is maybe their score in term exam, school internal exam that they did, maybe in first time, second time, or third time, or maybe in just first time alone. That is the academic performance. But if you look at family background, we have a lot of things there. We have the income, as you mentioned, Mr. Jeremy. We also have education. Education level of the parent is there. Occupation of the parent is there. We also have ethnic group. We have religion. So all these things made up family background. So if you look at those factors that we listed, is it easier than breaking down academic performance or not?
Well, I would say yes, it is easier to break that down, to break down the family background, yes, than students' academic performance.
Exactly. So when you are working on correlational research objectives, if your study is correlational study and you want to set objectives, you first identify those two variables. Then you look at it critically and pick the one that is much easier to break down. Then you break it down. So that you are breaking it down does not mean that you want to focus on everything. You first break it down, then you will now select the one out of the breakdown. You select the ones that you want your study to focus on. So those ones that you selected are what you will now use to form your research objective. When you are now looking at each of the breakdown, when you are looking at their relationship with the outcome variable, that is the dependent variable, which is the student outcome, student academic performance. So from this example, if you pick family background, out of family background, let's say we are focusing on family education, that is parental education, parental income, and parental occupation. We are focusing on the three of them. So to set our objectives now, we will now be making each of those sub-variables of family background, the three of them, we will now be correlating it to the student's academic performance. That is how to form objectives under correlational study. So the general rule is identifying the variables, then pick each of the variable and examine them to see which one is more easier to find dimensions for. Those dimensions are what we call subvariables. Do you get? Then use those subvariables or dimensions to form your specific objectives. Let's take another example, so that after this example, then we give classwork or assignment. Let's say our topic is to find relationship, as we can see on the screen, relationship between learning management system usage and learning engagement among university students. I didn't bother to add local. Let's just use that as an example. Remember the step. The first step is to do what? Hello? Hello? Anybody there?
The first step is to identify the independent and the dependent variable.
So the first step is to identify our variables. We identify the dependent, we identify the independent. So in this topic now, which is relationship between learning management usage and learning engagement among university students, you will see that learning management system is our independent variable, while learning engagement is our dependent variable. So we have identified the two variables. Then the next step is to do what? Anybody? I don't want Mr. Jerry this time around. I want another person in class. to talk. So after the first step, which is identifying the variable, then the next step after we have identified our variable is what?
Hello, good evening, everyone. Let
Good
me
evening.
try. I'm
Okay, go
sorry
ahead.
I joined late, but at least
Okay.
from what I've heard, let me see
Okay.
if I can try.
All right, go ahead.
After identifying the variable, I think you now pick the variable that you can break down.
Good. So we pick which of these two variables can we easily break down? Can we easily get dimensions for? Are we together? Now let's look at what I did here. For the two variables, the first one is learning management system. The second one is learning engagement. So for the first one, I have three sub-variables, which include frequency of learning management system access. Two, assignment submission through learning management system. Three, participation in online discussion forum. Those are my sub-variables for learning management system. Secondly, under learning engagement, which is the dependent variable, I have three classifications: class participation, attention during learning activities, completion of learning tasks. So now that each of the variable, I was able to break it down into three sub-variables or dimensions. What do I do next? Who can try? Who can try?
I think
What do I
once
do
it's
next?
broken down, like this, we now pick the one that you can easily work on.
Okay. So out of my breakdown for learning management system and my breakdown for learning engagement, which one do you think we should leave? Which one do you think we should carry as a whole? Because you know that in this type of research objectives, either our dependent or independent variable, one of them must stand as a whole, while the other one we break it down. But in this scenario now, I've broken down the two just for us to see that yes, there are some situations where you'll be able to break the two down. So now if you want to do your objectives, which one should we remain as a whole? Is it learning management system or learning engagement? And which one should we break down? Is it learning management system or learning engagement?
Uh,
Just
I
talk. We are
think
in class. Talk.
yes. I think we should focus on learning management system.
As a whole, or we should break it down?
No, as a whole. Now we've talked about breaking down the two of them. If we are now looking at the one that we are going to really focus on. So I think
Okay.
it's learning management system we should really focus on before we now talk of how you can engage,
Okay.
you can use to engage people.
I want to understand your point very well. Are you saying that we should break down learning management system and leave learning engagement as a whole, or you are saying otherwise?
Yes, no, we should break down the learning management system. That's what I mean. That one should be the one we should break down.
Okay. So if in your own study you want to break down learning management system and leave learning engagement, why do you want to do it like that? You are right, but why do you want to do it like that? Then I need another person to look at it. Is it possible for us to leave learning management system as a whole and break down learning engagement? Please, Mr. Labyrinth, talk. Why do you think learning management should be broken down while learning engagement should remain the same?
Because I think learning management system is what we really need to use to engage the class. So that one should be our major focus then, because it's the one that's going to engage, the students or whoever is participating in the class. And that's why I think that one should be our major one that we focus on.
Okay. So who is going for breaking down learning engagement and learning management system usage as a whole? Anybody?
Okay. I think if you want to, it depends on your topic. And
Yeah,
if you
that's
want
why I
to
said
really,
the two are possible.
the two are possible. So if you really want to, if your objective or the purpose of your study means that you know the class participation or attention during learning activities or the completion of their learning tasks, you might need to break the learning engagement down.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, let's go into it. So from here
Well,
now,
sir, I want to get
okay,
something right, please, before you
okay,
go on.
okay, go ahead, ma'am.
I may be wrong, but it's because I want you to correct me. I
Okay,
believe that in this situation, this topic that we are looking at,
okay,
learning management system usage, as
yes,
mentioned earlier, that is an independent variable, which means
yes,
it's standing alone. But the
yes,
learning engagement as seen here is depending on it. What I'm trying
yes,
to say and that I understand is the fact that to achieve this learning engagement, that
mm,
we need to, one needs to consider all the sub variables that are under this learning management system as gateway to achieving the learning engagement. That's how I
yes,
understand independent variables and dependent variable. So
yes,
if that is, if what I've said is true, I now feel that one should work more on the sub-variables of learning management system usage to achieve learning engagement.
all
That's how
right,
I understand it.
all right, thank you so much. You know, when it comes to research, as we said at the beginning of our training, we have philosophies. And research is all about perception. The way you are seeing things is quite different from the way I will be looking at it. And that is why I said if you leave learning management system usage as a whole, it's fine. If you leave learning if you leave learning engagement as a whole, it's fine. At the end of the day, what you will be doing is what you are doing in your own study after completion. I can look at it and say, okay, this person has broken down learning management system and look at it. But which aspect of learning engagement does learning management system usage actually facilitate the more? So in my own study, that is what I will do. So one thing that you don't cover in your own study, my own study is covering it. So that is why for every research, you will have what we know as uh, limitation of that research and suggestion for further research. So in that case, you have looked at the sub-variables of learning management system as how it facilitates learning engagement. But you did not really specify in your study which aspect of the learning engagement. So in my own study, that is what I want to do. Do you get it now? So either you are doing the two sides, you are still very much on the right track, depending on how you use it at the end of the day. Are we good? Can we move on?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now, remember that for us to form our objectives, we have two forms of objectives: the general objectives and the what? The specific objectives. So in that example now, our general objective will be coming from our topic, which is to do what? To determine the relationship between learning management system usage and learning engagement among university students. That is our general objective. That is what we intend to achieve. However, for us to achieve this, we need our specific objectives. Now let's look at it one by one. So for me, when I was preparing this slide, I picked for my specific objective one, I said I want to look at how frequency of learning management access will facilitate class participation. For me, I want to look at the two one by one. Are you with me? I'm not holding one as standing alone. I want to break it down. Meanwhile, even if I want to do it, to me, I think it will not be proper because I have to look at all LMS access to all if I'm breaking LMS down. So I have to look at how each element of the LMS usage will lead to all my classroom engagement participation. So because of that, the material that I used to prepare this slide, they have it like this, but I purposely bring this to class so that we can discuss it. Are you with me? So you know that we are breaking down our LMS usage and we are breaking down our learning engagement. And my training is that pick one of them to stand alone, while the remaining one, you are breaking it down. But in the objective that they have here, they are picking each of the breakdown of the object of the independent variable against the breakdown of the independent variable, so which I don't think is okay. So what we can do is, instead of having dependent variable as class participation, our dependent variable will remain as what? Classroom engagement. So our first objective will now be to determine the relationship between frequency of LMS access and classroom engagement among university students. That is one. Are we good? So then, secondly, we will pick the second subvariables of LMS, which is what? Which is assignment submission through LMS. So we also look at how assignment submission through LMS, what the relationship between, to examine the relationship between assignment submission through LMS and learning engagement of the university students. That is the second one. Then the third one, we look at participation in but you don't want it to show in your study, you now go and use it in your questionnaire. So that means your questionnaire will now have 3 categories, but it will not show in your objective. I think, okay, I'm back. The network is going now. So I think we understand what I'm saying. Any question based on the first example before we go to the second example? Please, any question on this first example? Okay, so if you don't have any question on first example, let's look at this second example, and we are going to do it together as class activities. Please, are we all ready? How many people do we have here? We have Mr. Emmanuel, we have Dr. Nonuga, we have Mrs. Osaz, we have Mr. Awolabi, then we have Mrs. Fumi. So we are going to allocate this step one by one. So for the first one, Mr. Emmanuel Olabirin, you will give us, I will tell you what we are going to do, then you will identify the variables that we have for us. Then after that, you will not mention if the variables are dependent and independent. You will not mention. You just tell us the variables that we have. That is all. Then from there, Mrs. Ojainde will take it up, and you will tell us, you will now classify each of these objectives into dependent and independent. Then Mrs. Osas will take it up. You will tell us which of these two variables, that is, which was either dependent or independent variable, can easily be subcategorized. Then I think all of us will now work together. Mr. Awolabi will give us uh, subdivisions of the identified variable before we now look at it together to form research objectives. So the variables that we have now, the topic that we have now is to examine the relationship. Please, can we all hear? Can you hear me?
Yes, will it be shared on the screen?
Share the topic.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, I will show it.
Okay.
Yes, I will just type now so that all
please,
of
sir,
us
when
can
you
see.
finish, let us know the part that we are going to play.
I will be calling you.
Okay, sir.
Please, a minute. All right. So this is the topic. So this is the topic. Can we see it? Relationship between social media engagements. Sorry, social media
Yes.
usage. Social media usage. Let's use usage instead of engagement. Relationship between social media usage. Relationship between social media usage and student academic performance in business study. So, the first person, Mr. Emmanuel Olabirin, please identify the variables that we have here, but don't classify them as dependent and independent. Just identify the variables.
Okay, so I think the two variables we have there, the first one is social media, and the second one is student academic performance.
Okay, is it social media?
Social media usage, then student academic performance. Hello? Hello, am I audible enough for everybody to hear?
Yeah, we can't hear you. I'm asking, is
Yes,
it social
yes.
media alone or social media
No, I said
usage?
social media usage. Social
Okay,
media usage, and the
okay.
second one is student academic performance. Sorry, am I audible? I don't know if you are hearing me, please.
Yes, I can hear you clearly, sir.
All right,
I
thank
don't know
you.
for
Maybe
others.
Mr. Taiwo is offline. I guess Mr. Taiwo is offline.
Please bear with me. It's my network. I don't know what is
Yes,
going
you
on.
can understand
And we
that.
all know we don't have power over it.
Yes.
So that is the variables. Very good. So then the second speaker will be Mrs. Osaz. Please, now that we have identified the two variables there, categorize them under dependent and independent variable. Which one is dependent? Which one is independent?
Okay, for the independent variable, we have social media usage. Then for the dependent, we have student academic performance.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. I think we are getting there. Then, now, Dr. Ononuga, what is the next step for us? For us to form our objectives now, what is the next step? Dr. Ononuga, please, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Partly. The next
Okay.
step, we need to
Yes.
match the two together to form our objective, specific objective.
Okay. Class, is
The
that
two.
right?
No, I
So
think we
what
need
do
to
we
break
need to
down
do?
each of the variables.
Okay. Class, is that right? Do we need to break down each of them, or we need to just identify the one we can break down easily?
Okay, identify. Let me see what identify the ones we can break down.
Okay. So now that we have the two variables, and we know that social media usage is the independent, while student academic performance is the dependent, which of these can easily be breaking down? Which of them do we have dimensions for? Is it the social media usage or the academic performance? So we get to, let's start from Mrs. Ojerinde. So which of the two can we break down easily? Mrs. Ojerinde?
Sir, I'm sorry. I did not. I've been talking. I didn't know that I have not on mute.
Okay, go
So
ahead now.
now, I would say that the two can't be broken down easily. But
Okay.
if I personally am the one doing this, I would prefer to break down the independent variable to break down the independent variable.
Okay.
It will make it easier for me.
Okay, do you now have some of the dimension that you will use to break down social media usage, which is the independent variable?
Well, one can consider the number one, the extent or the duration of usage.
Okay, duration.
One can also then I mean the extent, like the frequency. How frequent do they use it?
Wait,
Then
sorry,
so
ma, wait, ma, don't confuse us. Are you saying duration or frequency? Which one? Are they the
well,
same?
if I mean duration, I will explain, sir. If I mean
Okay,
duration, I'm saying that between what time and what time.
okay, by duration.
Then if I
Okay.
say yes, then if I say frequency, do they use it every day?
Good, that is where I'm
You
going. So
know,
duration
if
is standing alone, frequency is also standing alone. All right.
it's
So we
standing
we
alone,
have
yes.
two dimensions already. Go ahead.
Then in my that's why I would say that in my opinion, that
Go
if I
ahead.
want to
Yes.
do this, I also consider that the social media usage, what are they using it for? For instance, there are times that my daughter would
that is activities performed. Sure. So
okay,
activities performed,
but
making it
yes, you
three.
can call it activity, but me, I can say purpose.
Purpose,
That
yes.
some use it for entertainment, while
Purpose
some
of
use it to
usage.
even solve. Some might use it to as part of learning.
Good. So we have three: duration, frequency, purpose. Do you still want to add more?
Purpose. I don't know if it can be allowed, but I can say access. What I mean by access is how frequent do they have access to data that they will use to
Yeah, I think that
access
one.
their
I think that
social
one is
media
part of.
handle.
I think that one is part of frequency.
Okay.
Yes, that one is. So
Okay.
let's just
So
work on the three that you have mentioned.
I think I'm okay. I'm okay with that, sir.
So you have mentioned duration, frequency, and
Yes.
purpose.
Frequency
So
and
class
purpose. Yes.
and purpose. Thank you. So class, Miss Ojende have helped us break down the social media usage. Now my question is, what is the next step? Mrs. Osas, what is the next step?
Okay, after breaking it down, then we'll go to the specific um variable. So this, hold on, sorry, I don't know how to like. Okay, it's the specific
Develop.
objectives.
Mm.
I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah, just say it. We didn't get your point yet. Explain what you are saying. We didn't
I'm trying.
understand you.
Okay, for the what we're trying to do is to come up with a specific objective. So what I'm trying
Yes.
to explain is that after breaking it down, it takes us to the next level, which is the specific objectives. I don't
Okay.
know.
So what are we going to do under specific objectives? How are we going to get it?
This can be gotten from the various dimensions.
Yes, from the dimension. Remember, the topic was relationship between social media usage and student academic performance in business studies. Now that
Yeah.
we have broken down social media usage to 3, which is duration, social media usage duration, social media usage frequency, and social media usage purpose. So instead of having this social media usage only in our research objective now, we will now be inserting each of the subvariables of the social media usage. We'll be using it to replace social media usage to form 3 new objectives. So the first objective will now be to find the relationship between social media usage duration and student academic performance in business study. The second one will be to examine the relationship between social media usage frequency and student academic performance in business studies. And the last one will be to determine the relationship between social media usage purpose and student academic performance in business studies. Do we get it now?
Yes.
Hello? So any question based on our class activity?
Very, very, very clear. Very clear. Thank you.
All right. So now the next thing for us to do is to take our assignment. So that is our assignment. As you can see on the board, that we have a correlational study titled Relationship Between Digital Literacy and Entrepreneurial Intention among, okay, let's do it like this. Instead of having just digital literacy, let's have digital literacy skills. So let's put digital literacy skills. Yes. Good. So we have relationship between digital literacy skills and entrepreneurial intention among business education students in Nigerian universities. For those in business education, do it like that. For those in EduTech, use it as relationship between digital literacy skills and entrepreneurial intention among technology education students in Nigeria, or among educational technology students in Nigerian universities, so that all of us will work in our own field of study. Is that taken? So that is the topic, and we are to do 4 things. Number 1, we are to identify the independent and the dependent variable there. 2, we are to break down each variable into 3 dimensions. Then pick out of these divisions or dimensions that we have, which of these variable is it dependent or independent? Which of them do we want to make to still stand alone, despite the fact that we have dimension for it? Which of them do we want to use dimension for? Then based on that, we write our 1 general objectives, and we write our 2 specific objectives. Is that fine?
It's okay, but I think if you can help us to drop it in
sir.
WhatsApp, sir.
Drop it on the platform.
I will drop the whole PowerPoint immediately after the class.
Good.
So the whole PowerPoint, I will put it there. So any question for today's class?
Today's class is fine and okay, sir. But sorry, I wanted to call earlier I couldn't meet up to do that. I was to ask that last week video that they have not dropped it for us so that we can go over it again.
Over it. Okay, I think
Yeah.
Mr. Faith has been busy, so he will attend to that. He's
Yes.
also listening now, so he will attend to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
we do that of last week and today. So our next class, either Mr. Faith or I, we are going to look at how to form objectives for another types of research. At least we are going to do 2 before we now move to research question. So if there is no other question for today's class, I want to say thank you for attending today's class and God bless you. So we are going
Thank you.
next week.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Last
Thank
week
you.
and this week, they are both very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That's